On this episode, we talk about calorie counting and how it's not a good strategy for long-term weight loss. Hi there, I'm Chris Barlics. Welcome to lucky episode number 13 of Weight Loss on the Daily. Today we have a great question from Angie from Rhode Island. And Angie asks, I'm 5'2" and 160 pounds. I'm trying to lose about 20 pounds over the next several months, but I'm having trouble. I'm eating about 1,500 calories a day. Is that too much? If so, how many calories should I be eating per day? And Angie, thanks so much for asking the question. I'm guessing based on your question, you're measuring calories so you have 1,500 calorie goal per day and you're counting all the calories that you eat, adding them up, and making sure you don't go over that number, right? Calorie counting, I have two problems with it. Number one, it's a bad strategy for long-term success because it's difficult and it's time-consuming. So those of you that are watching, ask yourself this question. Have you tried calorie counting before? And how long did it take you before you said, this is too much, I can't do this, I don't have time for this, and got tired of it and just stopped doing it? I'm guessing it was probably less than 6 months before you stopped calorie counting because it got too overwhelming. Am I right? If, by the way, you had success that lasted much longer than 6 months, then maybe calorie counting is good for you. But chances are it's not. It's not a good strategy for long-term success. Now, if you're saying, well, Chris, isn't it worth it though? Because it's probably one of the best strategies for losing weight I've heard. You've heard wrong. Because counting calories in that sense not only is not a good strategy for weight loss in the long term, it's grossly inaccurate. And you have to understand what a calorie is to understand why it's inaccurate. A calorie is a unit of heat measurement. That's what it is, right? So a calorie per se is how much heat it takes to heat 1 kilogram of water by 1 degree Celsius. Now that's not important. What is important is calories are calculated by scientists in labs using a thing called a bomb calorimeter. It's a big dome and scientists put the food in and combust it. They burn it and they see how many calories that food has by burning it. The food that you see in your grocery store, most of it has not been put through that process because it's impossible to burn and combust 40,000 plus different types of foods, right? That would be impossible to do. So the food labels that you see with how many calories a food has are estimations. There are rough estimations at best. And studies have shown they could be off by as much as 20% either way. And it's okay because the FDA allows food that's off by 20% to still be published and still be sold with that amount of calories on it. I know it's crazy, right? But it completely foils the idea that you can count each individual calorie and be accurate. Because right off from the beginning, when it's measured versus not measured, you're off, you're wrong already. Other things to take into account that most people don't. When you cook a food versus when you eat it raw, it changes how many calories that food has. And also, most people don't take into the fact that we're all individuals, right? We're so focused on counting how many calories we consume versus how many calories we burn that we forget that there's an individual factor, right? Food that might burn into your body as 100 calories might only be 60 calories in my body because we're all different with different metabolisms and different levels of gut bacteria. So the different levels and different types of gut bacteria makes things digested differently. Not only that, but a lot of people think that a calorie is just a calorie and all calories are equal. As long as you stay in your daily allotted range, you're good. That's wrong. Angie, that's not true. Here's the thing. If you take 500 calories of candy versus 500 calories of nuts, they're not digested the same way in your body and they're not going to do the same thing for weight loss, right? The processed stuff like candy and carbs and refined sugar, all that stuff, makes you hungrier, stores body fat, and also, here's the difference that you might not realize. Every food has what's called a thermic effect of food. So basically, that's how many calories the food takes to burn or digest. So your body burns calories digesting food. And when you have the refined sugars or the processed food, that could be, let's say, 60 calories to digest that. But it could be 50% greater for whole foods. Your body burns more calories digesting whole natural foods to break them down. And when you eat whole foods, you stay hungrier for longer. And also it promotes fat burning, not fat storage. So yes, calories in, calories out is correct. But you don't realize that some of the foods you eat can influence the calories out. more than others. That shifts the equation completely off. So if you're just focusing on counting how many calories you eat, you're focusing on the wrong thing, Angie. Instead, focus on the type of foods that you're eating. Are they more processed foods, or are they more whole, natural foods like your lean meats, fruits, vegetables, nuts, things of that nature? Because you eat more of that stuff, 1,500 calories will go much, much, much better when it comes to your weight loss goals. So that's my tip for today. Stop focusing on counting calories, focus instead on the type of food. You'll do a lot better off, and it won't be as stressful, I promise. So thanks again for watching. As usual, you keep focusing on your why. I will be here each and every day helping you figure out the how, because that's the hardest part. Because you, with a small dose of me, are achieving your weight loss goals one day at a time, and don't let anybody tell you any differently. Have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you really soon.